everybody, this is a demonstration video to go along with ProtectiveDiet.com's Instant Pot apple pie bowl. It's like apple pie filling that we eat with our plant-based yogurt that we make in our Instant Pot and toasted oats. Are you getting into those toasted oats? We've got resistant starch going on for our lower level microbes. We've got pectin in apples for our lower level microbes. And on this recipe, it talks about feeding those protective microbes that produce the satiation hormone when we give them what they love. So 1 cup in a rack into the Instant Pot. You could use your souffle dish that we use to make all our cakes in the Instant Pot, or you could use your 4-cup measuring cup, your Pyrex. And then dice up those apples. The size of the dice doesn't really matter on this recipe. I go for about a 1/2 inch dice is good. And the variety of the apples is up to you. This recipe is to make a quickie recipe using the season's best. So I wanted to do this demonstration video just to give you a size of the apple. If you want to go smaller like this, you can. It's totally up to you. You don't even have to mix them up in that liquid. Just drop them in. I like to make this recipe at the start of dinner, like even right before I start making dinner. Or you could make this ahead, because on the recipe I say spoon to mouth, hot, room temperature, or cold. This mimics apple pie filling. So if you like your apple pie cold, then chill it down. This will freeze well, and this will even bottle well, or can, as some of you call it. If you're into canning, you can do that with your apples. You could do 4 to 5 apples, depending on how many, or even 6, depending on how many will fit into your vessel. Because you don't have to stir them until they're cooked, and they will simmer down. This one's a Honey Crisp. I have a Red Delicious and Granny Smith. Let's put that last one in there. I want to show you how you can really fill this up. I've been buying my apples through Azure Standard, so I get a case at a time. So Jerry and I have been just blowing through the apples this season. They're so fresh. And this recipe, while it was in testing, we ate this every single night as our feast finisher. As most of you know, Jerry and I, we eat 1 meal a day on a protective diet. So our 1 meal is substantial. So we would split this in a bowl with our toasted oats on top for crunch, and garnished, drizzled with our plant-based yogurt. And on top of that cup of water, these go. Turning off the keep warm button, making sure my pressure valve is closed or sealed, as it says on the Instant Pot. And this whole recipe, start to finish, I mean, you can see that's all really the prep work for this recipe. It will take about 10 minutes to come to pressure, and then it holds at pressure. So start to finish, I would give this recipe about 25 to 30 minutes. So it's a perfect thing to throw in and then get to making dinner, and it will cool off just enough so that it's not like hot apple lava on your mouth, because these apples are going to come out of here smoking hot. The pressure is quick release. actually remove this. The next step is to mix this, and what we're creating is a sauce. You could just use a simple spoon. This is very, very hot, and the starch in the base of this recipe will thicken just from vigorously stirring it in one small space. I'm not necessarily stirring all of the apples together like this. You can do that to get them coated, but what's happening here is this liquid with starch will start to gel and thicken up as you stir it, and as it cools it will gel up even more. Just like when we're creating a gravy for a stir fry, we move the veggies over a little bit and we add our starch liquid in and give it a whisk. We're doing the same thing with a spoon here. The reason I switched to a spoon is it fits better. You could use your Danish dough whisk. This works great too. I would skip on a balloon whisk for this recipe, or just go for the spoon. I think the spoon works best. And you can see the apples kind of settle as they're hitting this hot liquid. And the apples still have life to them in this recipe. Next thing I'm going to do is get my kale and dumplings. Plant-based kale and dumplings. This is up for nominee of plant-based recipe of the year. We're going to be voting for that very shortly for 2024. And if you haven't made that recipe yet and you're part of Protective Diet Education community, jump on it. Make the plant-based kale and dumplings so that you can catch up with us and place your vote. I don't know, this Instant Pot apple pie bowl might win. It's definitely a favorite of mine every day this apple season. Jerry and I have been gobbling up the apples this way. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing in here, like I'm baking an apple pie. And it was as simple as dicing these up, putting them in the Instant Pot, and giving it a stir. That's enough stirring. As you can see, this is thickening up. It's like a thick gravy. As it cools enough for you to enjoy it, your dinner's cooking. And then you're gonna have your dinner. And then this will still be nice and warm. Or you could put it in, I would transfer it to another container if you want to chill it down, because this measuring cup stays nice and hot. It'll keep it warm until you're ready to plate it up with your plant-based yogurt that we make in our Instant Pot too, and our toasted oats. One more thing I wanted to show you is this recipe will fit perfectly into a quart jar. You know how we like to store everything in our jars. We are quite the jar culture in Protective Diet Education. And so I do a lot of my recipes sized to store in jars. So a quart jar will work perfectly. And I like this cooled down to room temperature or chilled for the next day. If you have leftovers, then your apple pie bowl is quick to prep. But Jerry and I, we finish this off. We make big apple pie bowls. You could eat this as your breakfast. You could eat this as your main dish. Apples, fruit, and veg are very protective. But apples, celebrate them while they're in season and feed those lower level microbes what they love. That apple pectin fiber is one of their favorites to produce butyrate, the anti-inflammatory short-chain fatty acids produced when our microbes eat pectin fiber or eat resistant starch in our rolled oats. So we got a double whammy going on here. I hope you're enjoying a protective diet as much as Jerry and I are. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you enjoyed this recipe or the plant-based kale and dumplings, or whatever your favorite recipe is. I love the feedback. And let me know if you're doing 1 meal a day, day fasting on a protective diet, along with Jerry and I, and how you're doing. Take care.
And best of health.